now. And can you see the presentation currently?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see it on my side too, and Terry's got her copy.
Great. Okay. So go right ahead.
Okay, Christine,
Okay.
go ahead.
Just to do a brief introduction of myself and Terry, who's on the line with us. Christine Reed, IBEW 77, Political Director and Membership Development. And Terry, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name's Terry Canner, and I'm a business representative for IBEW Local 77, and my biggest unit that I represent is the line clearance tree trimmers. And I'm involved with the Northwest Line JTC on the apprenticeship committee.
So when Ryan asked if we would speak a little bit to the apprenticeship opportunities that 77 provides, we thought it might be great to do just a small introduction to who 77 is and a little bit about us. And if you want to go ahead and go on to the next slide. So our IBEW 77 history goes way back. We've been around since 1897 is when we got our charter, 123 years under our belt. There are now over 8,300, both men and women, that we represent. And some don't even realize that we cover all four corners of Washington, everything in between, not to mention parts of Idaho and Montana. So we're one of the largest IBEWs there is. If you want to go into the next slide. And one of the things that is important about IBEW 77 or considering a career with them is something that stands out in our declaration. And our declaration, typically I like to summarize, but in this case, I would go ahead and do word for word. For our cause is the cause of human justice, human rights, and human security. We refuse and will always refuse to condone or tolerate dictatorship or oppressions of any kind. We'll find and expel from our midst any who might attempt to destroy by subversion all that we stand for. This brotherhood will continue to oppose communism, Nazism, or any other subversivism. We support our God, our nation, and our union. So that's a little bit about our core values, if you will. If you want to go on to the next slide. So opportunity is often missed by most people because it's dressed like overalls and looks like work. So if you take a look at this picture here, it's kind of a representation of our members who are out in the field, those that are in the go ahead, Terry.
Power.
You want to take over? Thank you.
There's a power lineman, but you see what they're working on there is a transmission tower bringing in the power lines. I'm not sure where this picture was taken, but you'll see as you drive down the road and stuff, and some of the high power transmission lines feed all of the lower lines, lower distribution lines, and the distribution lines feed to the homes and businesses. And these guys, they go across the United States everywhere. A lot of them in Washington State, we go up over the mountain ranges, and there's a right-of-way that's covered. And so you get both linemen out there and line clearance tree trimmers who go through and mow and or get trees off the lines and power lines and things like that.
Excellent. I'm going to let you take over from here, Terry. If you want to go ahead and change to the next slide. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay. There's more that the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers represent. We represent public utility districts, so the PUDs, private utilities such as like Puget Sound Energy. We cover customer service representatives who work for the utilities. Also telecommunications is in there. I also represent the Westin Hotel, the switchboard operators and dispatch, which is one of our oldest contracts. So we take care of some of that. There's federal employees, water districts, irrigation districts, and electrician constructors, which end up building bringing the power lines to the houses and going through substations and things like that. Next slide. If I'm going too fast, let me know. So the apprenticeship opportunities that we have right now that we're going through, there's the power line apprenticeship. There's also a substation. There's a gas side to it as well. But most of it right now has been, we have a 4 local agreement with the apprenticeship program with the Northwest JATC, which includes IBEW 77, 125, 483, and 659, which is Oregon and Washington. There's several ways to enter into the apprenticeship. The first one being hiring directly on with the utility, or you get on our books and you get sent out as a groundman and you start accruing hours, which also go towards the apprenticeship. And then number 3 being accepted into the JATC program, which they're monitored. There's 2 Saturday classes a month. There's also like Camp Rylea. There's other stuff. We've got a couple of videos that are in a couple of slides that kind of give it a little bit more oomph and understanding and the visual aid. Next slide. And about the program with the apprenticeship with the Northwest Line, as an apprentice with Northwest Line, you'll be trained to do on the job to become a journeyman lineman. You will build, maintain, and repair power lines that carry electricity to homes and businesses. Linemen do all the work from the point of generation power plants all the way to the customer's meter. And you'll be working on power lines in rural or metropolitan areas from overhead structures upwards of 300 feet to underground vaults and trenches. And then the next slide, if you tap on the picture here, it'll start playing, and it talks about the first step apprentice from the Northwest Line JATC. I believe.
It's going right now. We have no
Okay.
sound though.
Oh, great.
Uh-oh. Hold on a second here. There's 2 things. Did you guys hear the audio on that when it started?
I did not.
Okay. So I'm going to share computer sound, and I'm going to give it another.
Oh, so this morning we just do regular up downs. We go around the yard. You know, each pole has a different task. It's pretty fun. Before this, I was working with my parents. They own a mechanic business, making minimum wage.
Well, I was doing home remodeling for my brother-in-law and just decided that it wasn't really going to go anywhere, and met some linemen back at home and started looking into it.
Well, I was in the military before I got my apprenticeship. I had a couple buddies that were in the trade. They knew that I like to work with my hands, work outdoors and stuff.
Got into line school after I had a short career doing inside wireman work.
As soon as I turned 18, I signed the books at the local 125 in Portland as a groundman.
There's a lot of different ways you can get into it. I went to a Vista Line School in Spokane, and I've heard a lot of good things about this school, Volta. There's Northwest Line School. There's some community colleges that have classes for it.
Applying and researching where to actually go probably took close to a year and a half to 2 years.
So I went to school for 4 months at a Vista Line School in Spokane, Washington.
So I went to line school, and once I was there for about a week, you kind of get addicted to it.
I got called out working as a groundman, learning a bunch of stuff. Then I decided it was time that I wanted to be an apprentice and start doing line work. Interviewed, and about 2 months after I interviewed, or 2 or 3 months, I got indentured as a second step because I have my 1,000 hours. So I mean, I think as a groundman, I mean, you learn quite a bit more than you would going to a line school. You're getting paid to work and learn.
Then right after I got out of line school, I went and signed the books. I did a road trip from Washington to Idaho, Oregon, and California.
I went and signed all the Union Hall books around in my area each month for about 5 months.
Right after I got done signing the books, it was maybe a week until I got called out as a groundman in Oregon. And then when I was in Idaho, I got called out from Northwest Line after I did all my interviews. And they called me and asked me if I wanted to be indentured. And I told them, yeah. I found out about the apprenticeship, and just set forth for it, and I finally got it, and I'm happy to be in it. I'm really grateful.
Excuse me. On to the next slide is the electrical power lineman apprenticeship wages. Kind of gives you a rundown of the wages, and they're getting ready to start negotiating the contract, which the contracts have been running generally 3 to 4 years, with wage increases and benefit increases every year is the idea.
Man, am I
next. Pardon me?
I said, man, am I in the wrong profession?
Yeah. And then we've got the next slide talks about the tree trimmer. We have line clearance, power line clearance trimming. And the tree trimmers work to prune and trim and sometimes remove the trees, usually in close proximity to power lines. Because so much of the work is done in the trees, trimmers will often work in excess of 105 feet using ropes and aerial lifts to perform their job duties, often utilizing advanced rigging, cutting, and climbing techniques to safely remove hazard trees. And participants of the program will learn how to safely operate in these conditions.
Now, Terry, this is your area of expertise. How long have you been involved with the tree trimmers?
The first time I started working with tree trimmers was back in 1987. And I did that for a while working for Asplin Tree Expert Company. And then I kind of took a left for a little while. For 15 years. I was a traffic control supervisor, safety coordinator for a traffic control company. So I was setting up job sites and still working in close working with Puget Power when it was Puget Power, Puget Sound Energy, Seattle City Light, and the tree crews that were doing all the power line clearance. So I came back to the union in 2002 and began working for Asplin again, and have been there ever since until 3 years ago when I was hired as a business rep because I got involved with the union.
How many people do you have that you're representing currently in the tree trimmers?
500 at this
That's
point.
fantastic. And as far as the area that they work, where are they working?
My whole area covers from Vancouver clear up to Bellingham, over to Spokane, and the piece in Idaho, and then clear down over Walla Walla in that area as well.
Is Asplin a union? Go ahead, Christy.
No. Go ahead, Ryan.
Is Asplin a union job everywhere or just on the power lines?
On the power lines. Asplin here in Washington State and Oregon is all union, also California. Back east in some spots, they're not union, but we're working on it. We have a line clearance coordinating council, which is the IBEW has put on, because Asplin is one of the biggest companies in the United States. And they cover parts of Australia and things, so they're monstrous.
Yeah, they do railroad cutting too.
Yeah, we do, or we did. I'm not with Asplin. Yes, they do. We've gone in, or Asplin, the tree trimming companies go in and do trim around for cable and telephone lines as well. And other jobs that they've gotten to have worked on the the base, Joint Base Lewis McChord, and also around the Boeing perimeters too, the Everett Boeing and different things like that as well. So, but the tree trimmers, they want anybody that's working around like the trolley lines in Seattle and things like that, they also want them to be line clearance certified. Anybody that, like if there's a hazard tree that's like on the wire near your home, you have to be line clearance certified to be able to trim that tree anywhere, anytime you get near the power lines.
Good deal. Okay, go ahead, Christine.
Terry, what do you think is one thing that you would want somebody to take away about the tree trimmers? Some facts unknown facts that you think would be really helpful to somebody considering going down this career path?
It's not for you just you get into it. Once you start doing it and you pay attention, they're very tight-knit group. When they welcome you in, I mean, we work together as a team when we go out there on storm jobs, because they get called out in the middle of the night. Everybody's watching out for each other, safety first, and all of the tree companies are very proud of their safety records and the things that they've got going on. All of the utilities would rather have the tree trimmers come in and clean up the mess before they have to go crawl in there and put the power lines back up. So the tree trimmers, you get a lot of overtime. There's a lot of work. My career, I enjoyed it. I mean, I was doing it for the last 15 years before I started being a rep. They work really hard, and it takes a special skill. I've sat there and you watch in amazement of some of the stuff that they do, and it's a good career. It's a very good career, and I've had people that have been doing it there, for 30 years and just getting ready to retire. They're going in to help teach at the apprenticeship and stuff. So if you look at the next slide, it kind of talks about the Power Line Clearance Tree Trimmer Apprenticeship Program. There's another video.
Let me fix my settings again. There we go. Let's give this a try.
I love climbing trees. I love being outside. I was a landscaper before, so it was an easy transition into it. I went through the pre-apprenticeship program for Oregon tradeswomen, and the instructors there geared me towards the Power Line Clearance Tree Trimmer program.
Honestly, I saw some people out at my house out in front that were climbing some trees. I just thought that looks kind of like a lot of fun.
Essentially, we clear trees from power lines. That's probably about the best way to sum it up.
Ready on the road?
For me, probably my favorite part of the trade in general is that every day is different. Every day we go to a new tree, we go to a new job site, we go to a different challenge. It's important to understand that this is a long-term career. Essentially, it's about 2 years, but they will train you every step of the way as long as you stay open-minded and understand that there's a lot to be learned on this job.
Being an apprentice, you have to be willing to travel because you can bounce around to different crews in different areas.
It reminds me a lot of kind of being in the military, if you like working in a team environment, trying to accomplish a common goal, that's like the best thing about it.
So in addition to climbing trees, the wage package and the benefits for my family, being healthcare and retirement, have been incredible.
It makes me feel good to know that I can provide for my family and not have any problems.
This is the highest paying job I've ever had. Well, as a first step, you start out doing groundwork, just dragging brush, pulling hangers, chipping it, and then once you get second step, then you can start to go up in the bucket.
Now that, I'm a second step and I'm allowed to go up into the bucket, I love doing that, and, climbing trees, that's a lot of fun as well.
This is not for somebody that's out of shape or lazy. It's a lot of hard work. I go to the gym 3 times a week just to help me build my muscles a little bit quicker, so I can take bigger chunks of wood and also get up the tree faster.
I think one of the greatest things about climbing a tree is a lot of times you're going somewhere nobody else has ever been before. You get to see things from a different perspective that nobody else ever will.
I like it because of the adrenaline rush. I used to jump out of airplanes, so I'm used to that feeling and I love it.
It's a good wage. and the camaraderie you build, you know, on the crew you're on is great.
Powerline clearance tree trimming has changed my life and given me more goals and a career.
It's an incredible opportunity for you and for your family.
I really like this trade a lot. I don't plan on going anywhere else.
Okay, in the next.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I was like, did it start again? I don't know. The next slide gets into the Powerline tree trimmer wages and stuff, and right now we're in the second year of a 4-year contract, so that wage will be going up, and as far as a journeyman wage goes, and it changes, so it's a good wage, like you said, or like they said, it's been really an amazing change to my life, and I am forever grateful for everything and just the things that I've learned and the camaraderie and the people that I've met that are lifelong friends. So, and then the next slide gets into our contact information. I have myself is on there, my email address, and then also for the power lineman, Rick Strait is the West Side Seattle area construction rep, and he's also sits on the apprenticeship committee. And Will Power is for Spokane area rep. He does construction, and he's been helping me out with the tree stuff since COVID stuff and getting to travel around to Spokane and stuff. So it's the whole thing. IBEW has just always been to me about a brotherhood and sisterhood, and we all watch out for each other and work together as a team, and it's amazing when it comes out and all the things that I've learned. So
incredible opportunities. Yeah, thank you for showing the presentation. I greatly appreciate that.
Yes, thank you for coming. We do have one person in here who is in the meeting specifically because he's moving out here and looking into getting into an apprenticeship. Could
great.
you guys explain exactly how that would work? So like signing up at the hall, applying for an apprenticeship. Tell us exactly how it starts.
Okay. Well, right now with COVID, you have to go online to IBEWlocal77.com to sign the books. Mm-hmm. And signing the book, so it's on the 77 website, there's a little red button that's a temporary online signing of the book, and you'll need to have a driver's license and any other certifications that you have, like CPR first aid is a good help too. And as jobs come up, then our dispatchers call out, we go down the list and call out different people depending on the area and stuff. And send out as a groundman first if you don't have any experience. If you do have previous experience, we will take the hours, documented proof of hours, and try to adjust you in the either book 1, book 2, book 3, or book 4. Book 4 is for the new people who have never done any type of work in the industry. And then you move up the books as you get more experience. It goes to book 3, book 2, and book 1. To get into the apprenticeship and sign up for that, we have the website on the slideshow. It was nwjatc.com, and they lead you through an online filling out the forms and stuff like that, or you can call them too if you don't have access to the internet. But what they do is then you get put into order by the specifications that you have or the special certifications. As far as like the CDL permit or a CDL, you get points for that. You get points for the CPR first aid card, OSHA 10 training, crane certifications, things like that. It just moves you higher up on the list as far as getting sent out. And as the calls go out, what generally happens is the apprenticeship will send you out if you're signed up for the apprentice as an apprentice. And then if we're sending you out as a groundman, we will, the hall sends you out as you get your journeyman ticket. And if you're not working, when you take your test and get your journeyman ticket, you put your name back on the books. And then when the calls come in, we send them out.
Okay, sweet. Are people who, so let's say people who work for Puget Sound Energy or Patelco or somebody, are they dispatched daily or are they employee, or Michael's Power? Are they dispatched daily or are they employee?
They're employees. Once you get dispatched out to a contractor, you're theirs until they lay you off or whatever happens. And most of the time that doesn't happen. If you're hired with PSE, you're working directly for the company. With Patelco or Michael's Power or something like that, any of the subcontractors, for the most part, if it's like within, Patelco does a lot of work for PSE, so it's generally a full-time job. Michael's and Wilson and the other ones, when you're dispatched out for construction stuff, it's like those type of things are bid jobs usually, you know, and you kind of follow them around, but you're their employee directly. With the tree side, we're hurting for tree people right now, because what ends up happening is the journeyman tree trimmers end up getting signed up for the line side apprenticeship and go out that way. They go through the interviews and all of their work and hours count towards that apprenticeship and their point. Did that make any sense? I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it does. So, but the scale is the same. The scale is the same for whether you're line certified or not, right?
What do you mean?
So the scale you showed for tree trimmers, that doesn't have anything to do. So if you're non-line certified, if you're just called out as you know, it's your first day.
As a groundman is a little bit less.
Okay, right, but it's
right
a percentage of that top scale, is what I'm saying.
Right, but groundmen end up starting out anywhere from $23 an hour on tree side to, I think it's 31 right now for power line. I think that's what it was. That's going to be changing here as soon as our new contract passes.
Okay. Andrew, do you have any questions you want to ask? I mean, you're the guy really looking here.
Okay, so overview, I go to IBEW77.com. There's a red button there, and I apply for a groundman first. Is that correct?
Yeah, sign the books, and your classification would be groundman if you don't have any previous experience at this moment.
Okay. And if I wanted to go the apprenticeship route, I would go to nwjetc.com and apply there. Okay.
Yeah, because they'll ask for you. That's where they ask, if you're signing up for the apprenticeship, they'll ask for, you'll need to have a copy of like your I just lost my train of thought. Either a GED or your high school diploma, your driver's license, and things like that, because they want transcripts to get into the apprenticeship program.
Okay. Cool.
I'll ask this question. What's the difference between signing the books and getting in the actual apprenticeship program?
Well, you have to be a union member to get into to be in the apprenticeship program. They ask you for your union ticket, so you have to at least be signed up and get initiated into the union, because the JATC is operated through NECA and the IBEW together.
Okay. So can he just sign up? Can he sign up as a groundsman and then get initiated later into the union?
Yes.
Okay, that's what. And I have
you don't have to.
Go ahead.
You don't have to pay the initiation fee until after you've been working for 30 days in any position, either as an apprentice or as a groundman.
Okay. And look, this is new for me too, because I have always been an employee Teamster. I've never worked out of the hall. So
yeah,
I can't explain it any better than so it is different from a normal job, and unless he knows that, it is kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. Well, because you'll work for them until Asplin. I was an Asplin employee for 15 years. I never got laid off.
Right. Right. I would not. That's a never-ending job.
That like that too.
Yeah, that is a never-ending job. I mean, that if you want a secure job, tree trimming would be one of them, I would think. So.
Well,
that's
and
never going
because
away.
it's year-round, we work with the power lines. We were considered essential workers, so we've worked this whole time, even with the COVID and everything. We've been working through this whole thing, and then even the storms and the winter and everything else like that, rain, snow, and all that other stuff. We end up working through all of it. So it's a continuous thing.
And Terry, you work through the summer, and you are on there's maintenance projects where they're trimming in advance. So it's a year-long gig, and it just seems like there's always more work than you're able to get done. Is that right?
Yeah, it's vegetation management. They do all the power lines even before they can put up new lines or go in and replace aged power poles or anything like that. The tree trimmers come through. When there's trees laying down all over the freaking lines there's trees laying down all over the lines during storm and stuff, the tree guys get called out and they're out there pulling the stuff and clearing the way before the linemen come in.
So would you say this is not for the faint of heart, right?
No, not at all.
Would you say that there are more women who are becoming actively involved in tree trimming as well?
There is actually one of and also for the power line for linemen. Cassie Crabtree, I met her 4 years ago. She started out. She went to Volta, which is the line school through the JATC. And she came out to work for Asplin on a crew with us as a groundman and started accruing hours. And then she got called out for the line side apprenticeship, and she was nominated for Apprentice of the Year out of the United States for IBEW, and just received an award like right before all this COVID stuff happened. And
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, she's getting ready to take her test here in like 3 months.
Wow.
And there's several other women I know that have been doing this as well too. So it's really good. And there's a lot of people that are just getting involved and really want to do it and are doing a great job.
What advice would you give Robert or anybody else wanting to go down this path?
Just be prepared to work outside, even in the rain. Invest in good rain gear and always pay good money for your boots because it's worth it.
Is there any particular story you can think of that you'd want to share with the group about your experience?
No, because I wasn't a tree trimmer. I was doing the prep work. I was either permitting or setting out no parking signs and making sure the traffic control was taken care of. And then I became an on-site supervisor, so I was doing the coordination and going out and knocking on doors before my crews came through.
Can you speak to like the flagging?
Huh?
Oh, like the flagging, because you coordinate flagging classes and about how that plays into this?
Well, all of the members, your flagging certification, you have to have that when you start out because you're working on the road and on the sides of the roads. I've also participated in getting some of the state of Washington rules changed for the work zone, which that was pretty exciting to have it finally start happening. But anytime you're working around power lines that are near the road or trees or everything, and we have to block traffic, you have to be out there and you have to control it. Watch for falling lines or when wire gets put back up and or when tree branches come falling down and stuff like that.
So that's your area of expertise. The only thing that I have is I would take the phone calls for those downed lines and place the service orders to send people out, but I never had an opportunity to go out in the field. I can only speak to that from the customer service side of it, and And I'm pretty sure that Robert isn't interested in going down the customer service path.
There were some questions.
There's other things you get.
Chat. Can I read some of the questions in chat? Robert asked if you could talk to us about the safety record for this work.
It's very controlled, especially here in the state of Washington, because L&I governs all of it, and then there's the WAC 45 governs it, and IBEW, working in conjunction with all of the other contractors, has the safety summit we do yearly. And also there's a electrical safety council that meets with Washington and Oregon, and people from California as well. For as many people that are in the industry in the United States, the safety record is actually really well, because we are our brother's keeper and we watch out really closely for each other. And through all the years and all the things that we've learned, it's got safer and safer. It's all changed, and it all started about safety and working conditions is how the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers was instituted in the first place. Henry Miller, who started it, was all about the safety, and that's where the changes started happening.
What was the other question is there a preferred CPR or CDL training course?
To get involved with the apprenticeship, you need to have your permit, but the CDL is not going to hurt. It helps. You can have either A or B.
Okay.
Do you got and it's been a long time since I got a CDL permit. About 19 years, as a matter of fact. But CDL permit, you just apply for that through the state, right?
Department of Licensing, I believe.
Yeah,
and what happens is you get your permit, because then you go out there and you start getting on hands, like driving the truck and learning and teaching. And a good majority of the companies have proxies that can give the test as far as passing for your CDL, and they have workshops and stuff that help too.
Wow. Okay, I just didn't know. I went through school for it, but I didn't know if it.
Oh yeah, it's like $7,000 nowadays, I think.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
No.
I'm
the state
going to say something here.
The state changed a lot of the regulations in the last 3 years, so.
I'm going to say something. I'm not a fan of heights at all, and through my campaign, I went down to the Ironworkers Training Center in Tukwila, and I wanted to climb one of their dam beams. I just could not stay off that thing. And I got about halfway up there, and I just could not go any further. And when I started, Brian told me, he said, "This is the slickest beam in Seattle." He says, "All the paint's worn off of it. It's like trying to climb glass." And as somebody who does not like heights, and I got, 20, 25 foot up, the heights did not bother me one bit. I want to go back there and climb that. I want to ring that bell up there. It's probably 40, 50 foot high. I didn't, judging by, you're going to be 100, 200 foot, 300 foot up in the air. I thought I would never be able to do that until I went to the Ironworkers Apprenticeship Training Program. I could do that. And I think lots of people who don't think they can do it probably can do it. It's just something you do. It's just like walking on the ground to those guys once you get used to it. So don't let that part of it scare you out of it.
Yeah.
That's true too. I will tell you, I'd gone up in a 105-foot bucket up in Queen Anne, and the sights were amazing, and I thought I was going to freak out at first, and once you just start looking around, it goes away.
Yeah. And I was amazed by that. I never thought I could be an ironworker, and look, I probably can't, but the biggest hurdles seemed to all be in my mind, and it went away almost the second I started doing it. So keep that in mind, Andrew.
Will do. Thank you.
And IBEW offers other opportunities. We also have our apprenticeships through gas, and that's through coming on at Puget Sound Energy. You can get on with the utility. We've got a gas side of it as well, and there's other opportunities besides just the two that we've presented here. So we're pretty much everywhere. We have our hand in a lot of different fields, and there are a lot of opportunities given your interest, your skill set, your risk factor, what you're comfortable with, and they're great paying jobs with wonderful benefits, and it's a great organization. Speaking from my experience, and Terry, had summed that up earlier as well.
And Andrew, if you want some more information, send an email through the website, and I will mail this stuff out to you. That'll give you a little bit more information for other, like King County Metro and things like that, because you can get to work out of Seattle City Light or for the Parks Department or anything like that as well too. So we cover a whole variety of things.
Thank you.
So everybody want to sign up today?
I would like to. I'm ready.
Thank you so much for your time. You also work with King County Metro?
Yes. I am not the rep for that. Steve Kovac is, but yes, we represent King County Metro, the city of Bellevue, the PSE gas side.
Wow.
There's a whole bunch of them.
It seems like the hardest challenge would be to isolate what you actually want to do. There's quite a bit of opportunity out there.
Yeah, right now we've got, there's like, even as a groundman, we've been sending out meter replacement for like all the PSE meters. So they train you and they, to do the meter change out too. And that's like got another 3 years going on that job for a company called Aclara. So.
Where do you know where you are on your groundkeeper book or on your groundsman books? So let's say there's 100 people in group 4. How many of those 100 are getting dispatched every day?
Right now, and for the last 4 months, we've been sending out groundmen weekly. So I would say anywhere from 3 to 10. Just depends on what's going on, and with us being essential workers, it's a constant thing. People aren't sitting on the books for very long at all.
Okay, that's what I was asked. That because I know how it works at the Teamsters hall, and if you're on the C list, you're going to be waiting a while. So
yeah, I remember doing that when I started out years ago at a local 440, and I was on like the D list until I got hours and people started knowing me.
Right. Okay. Andrew, back to you.
Thank you. So it's required to be in a union in order to apply for some of these apprenticeship programs, and I'm wondering how difficult it is to get into a union in order to apply for these apprenticeship programs.
It's not that difficult. You just have to sign the books and pay the initiation fee and have a number, and then because they will ask you for your ticket number, and that's on your dues or your receipt.
Okay, thank you.
What's the initiation fee?
It's like 30. I think it's $32 right now.
Okay.
And then our monthly dues just went to $40 a month. But with that you get, there's a separate little pension thing if you get vested and stuff. So at the end of your career, when you retire, you end up getting, I think it's like an extra $500 a month that comes off the dues, or that you get for paying your dues.
Right. Look, I don't know if you know my story, but Christine and I know each other through trade ups. And
Okay.
I've been a Teamster, and I don't know how many we've done together, but 3 at least, I think. There is no better investment I have ever made than being in a union. Nothing else even comes close. The amount I have saved in healthcare alone makes my union dues the best investment I have ever. And we're not talking about the pension or the overtime rules or the short-term disability or any of that other stuff. This pays well, and there is no better investment. It's not. So keep that in mind, Andrew.
Hello? That, and I will tell you, I'm 3rd generation IBEW member. My grandfather was, and my dad was, and both my brothers and myself, and out of California and in Connecticut.
And I've done this in my personal time through trade ups. We've always, Christine and I and everybody else who's done trade ups, Snohomish County Labor Council, we've been trying to teach people how to get into the trades and unions in general. And for somebody like me, when I got out, I came out here in '95 when I was in the Navy. I got out in '99. Had I known how to do something like join the lineman, I probably would have. So I didn't have anybody.
We're working on that.
I didn't have anybody to teach me, but now that I know how, I'm going to teach other people how to do it. And if we can get Andrew and anybody else who sees this video into a lineman or a tree trimming job, that's a life-changing thing. And it's an amazing career that a lot of college-educated people would love to have pay and benefits of either of these jobs. And this pays well. Yeah, you're going to work, but it's also never-ending. It is very secure. And that's what most people are looking for. And it's right here if they know how to do it.
Right. And we're working on that as IBEW. We've got a Renew program, which is Re-Energized Youth of Today. And we've been going out to, I do a lot of job fairs when we're allowed to do these things. And I've been going to festivals, and we set up a booth. I think we set up a booth with Christine last year. I was down there hanging out with you for the Snohomish Labor Council thing and parade down there at the Everett Labor Temple.
I was there.
But we've been trying to get more involved with going to high schools and stuff too. I've gotten some contacts with high school stuff and also WorkSource.
Perfect. Yeah. I thank you for coming. I thank everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Christine, anything you want to add?
I just want to thank Terry for doing a fantastic job sharing her experience and the options that are available to people out there. And thank you, Ryan, for providing us the platform to showcase 2 of the different apprenticeship opportunities within IBEW 77 and share a little bit about who we are. And it's a great organization and welcoming, and we'd love to get the word out as opportunities for others.
Well, thank you. Thank you both for coming, because this is, whether or not anybody knows it, this is a public service. And thank you. And I hope to get at least one apprentice your way, if not multiples.
Well, that would be
okay,
that would be
I look
great.
forward to that.
Thank you so much for your time. It is greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
All right. And if you guys want to stay, you can stay. If you want to be done, you can take off. Joy, you can turn off the recording now. And again, thank you guys for coming. This was great.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I'm signing off, and you're very welcome.
Thanks, Terry.
I'm going to stay on for just a few minutes. Thank you again.